there's a lot of folks here in this room that I recognize that we started talking about the issues that we faced as a community after the 2000 census came out. And we saw the issues that we were dealing with in Morgan County. High school dropouts, illiteracy, teenage pregnancy, drug and alcohol abuse, spousal and child abuse, on and on and on. It was shocking to many people. We didn't really think that we had those issues in our beautiful little community of Madison and Morgan County, but they're alive and well. And conversation started at that time about what possibly could be done to deal with these issues. So there was an awareness developed probably 6 years ago. But there was no alternative. We could not find a service that could truly fill the needs of the children that needed the help. And then we met David, he delivered the message. And that's the reason this thing came together so fast, because it's not like we just heard that there was a problem. We finally now saw that there was a solution. The Boys and Girls Club came in here and did a study based on the old Fork census. And based on that study, which was lengthy, it's 54, 55 pages, we discovered we got 913 kids between the ages of 6 and 18 at risk. And that goes through a whole litany of issues, and if any two of those are checked off, they're judged to be at risk. Many of the kids that we have, one of the problems is that they're unsupervised after school and during the summers, lack positive role models. And as we know, the gangs are close. We've seen that. You talk to the Sheriff's Department or the Police Department. They don't think they're here yet, but they know they're close, and they've got people coming into the community trying to get established.
What is the most influential time in a child's life? Age 6, 8, 12? Actually, it's between 3 and 8 every afternoon. That's the time a kid is most likely to get into trouble. Or worse. Which is exactly why that's the time the Boys and Girls Clubs open their doors and their arms to kids all over the country every day. When kids walk into these clubs, they're surrounded by people who care what happens to them. Adults who make sure these children continue to learn and grow long after the school bell rings. But there's still thousands more kids who need our help. Thousands of kids who need help to prepare for a positive future.
These children that fall into this wheel never have an opportunity to break out of it, because it's the same families, generation after generation. It's babies having babies, having babies, having babies that face the same problems. And we know that when that happens, the result is lost children and lost lives. Judge Spivey, he's a juvenile court judge here in Morgan County. He said, the Boys and Girls Club here in Morgan County will keep at least 100 children out of my court a year. 100. The cost of this is a figure that came up in one of our early meetings. The cost of housing a prisoner in Georgia now is $84,000 a year.
We do not have anything more important to do than to protect youngsters like this and put them on the road to success. The choice is very simple. We either build our children or we build more jails. It's time to stop building jails and get back to what we know how to do as Americans, and that's to build our children.
58% of the boys that were in the club said, I became committed to my education. 70% of African American had said that same thing. And we've heard this story. Those of us who have heard testimonies from young people in Atlanta, we've heard this time and time and time again. Overall, 54% of the males said, Boys and Girls Club saved my life. Didn't say they changed my life, it said it saved my life. And 70% of the African American males, 73% said it saved my life. This is a great quote. from a gentleman that's not too much older than I am. Most of my friends were into drugs and drinking. The boys club kept me away from these things. Of the 19 boys in my school class that were my friends, only 2 are still alive. The rest died of drug overdoses, auto accidents, or committed suicide. And the 2 of us alive were the only ones that belonged to the boys club. The strongest element of our club is community involvement, and I think this is a credit to this club. When you look around tonight and see the number of folks here, we've come a long way fast. This is, when you see this club, when you see all the board and all the participants in it, you'll see that this is a nonpartisan, I promise you, nonpartisan, ecumenical, biracial, and Pat Stokes reminds me, gender neutral.
Not used to saying that, is he?
I don't do that.
Just a little piece of paper. But this card from the Boys and Girls Clubs has kept millions of young people off drugs, out of gangs, and in school. Little piece of paper. It's only a little piece of paper. It tells every kid who carries it that someone cares about how they grow up and what they do with their lives. Every day, another 300 kids will join the club. That's 300 kids who will be picking up a membership card instead of a gun or a needle or a knife. It's amazing, isn't it? Even still, there are thousands more children who need our help. You know, too many people feel like they can't make a difference, but I'm telling you this, put this card in the hands of a child and you will change that child's life. Do that and you can change the world. It's up to us. Support a program that works. The Boys and Girls Clubs, the positive place for kids.
It has just been an absolute pleasure for me to get to know many of you in this room and to see the Boys and Girls Club really get cranked up and rolling. I think after you hear this next young man speak, you'll see why that I believe it's very important what we're going to accomplish in Madison-Morgan County. This young man that I'm going to introduce to you, Demetrius Tuttle, is a 9-year member of the Boys and Girls Club in LaGrange, Georgia, our 2007 Southeast Youth of the Year.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
First, I'd like to begin by saying I am truly honored to be in the presence of people who are making change. Because without change, I wouldn't be here today. As Mr. Work mentioned, I did begin the club back when I was 9 years old with Mr. West and the rest of the group that's with me tonight. I think Miss J was a little younger. Miss Willa gets younger and younger each day. And we don't really know how old Mr. West was. But we have grown so much as an organization, but not only that, I have grown as a person. And without this organization, I always said I wouldn't have the opportunity to change my life. And you know, as we rode into this historic city of Madison, I looked out the window and saw youth riding their bikes, and it reminded me of myself back when I was 9, just a youth on a bike, searching for a place to belong. And that's why this movement is so important. Now, as Mr. Work said, I did compete for the Southeast Region Youth of the Year. And the topic of the competition was, what does the Boys and Girls Club mean to me? And tonight I'd like to share with you what the Boys and Girls Club means to me. And it's really simple. It's just one word. What does the Boys and Girls Club mean to me is the question. The answer? Well, if this were a TV commercial, I think it would go something like this. The membership card, $5. The summer registration fee, $50. Giving a kid the chance to change his life and enhance his future? Priceless. You see, I live in poverty. I know what it is like to have your lights cut off. I know what it is like to not want to answer the phone for fear of debt collectors, and then to lose it because you can't afford to pay the bill. I know what it is like to have rats running around your home at night. I know what it is like to feel like no one loves you and to stand for nothing. But I want to tell you a story about this place, a story of hope and determination. You know, this place is a place where poverty was a thing of the past because all the things I needed were there. This place is a place that some would say is nothing more than a building made of bricks. And as you saw on the screen back here, a building made of bricks can make a tremendous difference in a child's life. This place that I am talking about is the Boys and Girls Club. And it is there that I was given the opportunity of a lifetime, the opportunity to succeed. You know, I can remember the first big opportunity I was given at the Boys and Girls Club. It was during the debut of our new computer lab donated by the Duracell Battery Company. Our CEO, Mr. Wally West, wanted the donors to see the computers in action. So he mentioned that I had experience in PowerPoint and had me create a PowerPoint presentation for them on the spot. You know, I can remember them being so impressed that they offered me a job. But I had to decline because I was only 14 at the time. But that was my first big push along the path. That was the first opportunity. The opportunity to understand that I can stand for something for once. The chance to belong. The chance to feel competent. The chance to not only stand here today and represent my club, but represent the millions of kids out there who still need the help and support of this organization, who need a club professional behind them, pushing them and backing them up. I needed that push. I needed that support. And now, I had it. It has changed my life. It has saved my life. And it has given me something that is priceless. You see, that was the turning point in my life. I was 14 years old. And it was thanks to those programs like Power Hour, Project Learn, that I was able to change my grades, change my attitude, and change my life. And now I am the one teaching those values that were taught to me so long ago. I am the one who gets to see the shine on a child's face when he or she gets the right answer. And it is those moments that are inspiring and empowering. You know, I have been underprivileged a majority of my life, but I have learned that it will not stop me from reaching success. You know, I can remember the first time being awarded the Georgia State Youth of the Year. It was the biggest accomplishment of my life. That was the moment I realized that I had something that was mine, something that no one can take away. You see, they can take away your lights, they can take away your phone, and they can even take away your home. But they can never take away what I have here. That was the moment when I realized that I am not limited to what I see around me. That was the moment that I realized that I will never have to pick up a knife or a gun to get my point across, because my thoughts have power and my words can move mountains. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." But I have learned that someone can make you feel superior, whether you want to be or not. Those are the lessons that I had to learn at the Boys and Girls Club. And it is those lessons, those memorable moments, and these character-defining times that make all of this priceless. The club has become an extension of my family. You know, I can remember not having the funds to go on a very important trip, but I did have a club family. And I can remember being told, "You're like a son to me. Whatever you need, just ask." So I reluctantly called the club, and without hesitation, they were there for me. They did not have to be there for me. But you see, they have the unique ability of turning children like me, needy children of promise, into adults of purpose. who were they to believe in me? Especially when I didn't believe in myself. But it is because of that belief in me that I now have something to believe in. I can believe in me too. So what does all of this mean to me? This is my life. This is my soul. This is why I am so glad to walk through those club doors into the faces of those kids and know that they will also share the love for this organization, because there's no way to escape it. If you do not remember anything I have said today, remember this: God makes no mistakes. It is not by coincidence that I am standing here today. This is my future. This is my opportunity. This is what God has given me, the opportunity to share a vision. And yes, I once was without lights, but they're on now. And I once didn't have a phone to use, but it's on, and you can call me. And I once had the rats to distract me, but they will not distract me anymore. You see, that's just it. That is what this organization means to me. It is my light to shine brightly. It is my phone to pick up when opportunity calls. And it is the exterminator that gets rid of all of my distractions. And that, my friends, that is truly priceless.